want to sit down and maybe say something to them you might not want to say across the shop counter with your boss listening from right behind you, you go to the City of the Dead. It's the public park. You don't go after dark when they lock the gates. You don't want to be anywhere near there. But during the day, it's a quite pleasant place, and it's heavily patrolled.
Well, there's
not just by the watch.
Too.
Yeah, but not just by the watch. It's heavily patrolled by important people in the city who are, what we would call retired adventurers who can lick your butt. And not in that way either. And they are there to pay respects. Yeah. And they are there to pay respects to their family. But if they see somebody punching somebody else or somebody being chased or fisticuffs, they'll come over and say, "We don't do that here." Not next to Uncle Murgatroyd. Uncle Murgatroyd would not approve. And I don't approve either. And they have the muscle to back it up. Like, they could be a wizard of stature, or a cleric of stature, or they could just be a retired warrior who can pick you up and throw you over the roof of the nearest tomb, which is the easiest way. You have some ruffian who's beating somebody else up, you just pick him, throw him over the roof, and when he lands, all the wind will be knocked out of him. And if he has any sense at all and can still hobble, he gets up and moves hastily in the general direction of away.
Speaking of the since we're in the City of the Dead here, are these all mausoleums?
They're everything.
It depends.
Yeah,
it depends. Yeah. I mean, they look like mostly mausoleums. I know
we already established that some of them are. They're filled with the little niches of what's left over when you've cremated people. So they are not themselves an active crematorium, but when you're finished, what's left of Uncle Albert will fit in your palm. So right. Uncle Albert is in this drawer that pulls out of the wall next to everybody else in the family. They all have their little jar inside this little thing you pull out. So there's a lot of those, and we've already established in written published films lore, not done by me, but Night of the Living Dead by Ellen Varney and other things like that, where they had extra dimensional things in a lot of these. So a lot of these look quite small, and they lead to a pocket dimensional, much larger interment, which is also why it is such a dangerous place, because you've got all these dimensional rift weakening because of all of these little portals, and can be misused for that reason.
Right. Now, and I noticed that they're also set up in specific areas. So, the one for sages or what?
Yep.
It is, so it's specifically for those people. What's the cost of being buried in these mausoleums with the other famous deceased people over the ages?
It depends. And the reason that answer applies is, if you're sufficiently famous, the city may bury you there, like being buried at Westminster Abbey. If you're a famous composer, whatever, that may be something they do for you. Or it may cost you a lot less if your family already owns a spot, or you own a personal spot that you've purchased long before death. Or if your grieving widow wants to spend the farm on buying a place for you, even though that he was just a dishwasher, but he was my dishwasher. and because he was also a thief on the side, and she didn't know it, and she now discovers that he'd amassed 16 million gold pieces, well, she can spend 500,000 of them buying the best burial place. And she'll buy herself a place at his side for later, and save all that. And maybe she'll buy a whole row of them and then resell half of them to recoup her cost of them, because she is from Waterdeep after all. And this is what we do. And we also have at least one book, A City of the Dead by Rosemary Jones, which gives you the Adarbrent family crypt, which Lord Adarbrent was visiting. And he would walk through the City of the Dead every day because he was the last one of his line, so he had no one else to visit. So that's where he went to visit all his family members who were all dead and gone. but he went there every day.
Ed, I'm just looking at the city system box set maps, and it's got the fantastic map of basically all the buildings. You know, someone's sat down and illustrated them all, which is rather brilliant. And it would appear that if that map is correct, from about the line of Castle Waterdeep down towards Dock Ward, that it's sloping. It slopes down to the docks. Would that be right? Or is it flat? Yeah.
It's not okay. The city system tends to give you an exaggerated idea of how severe the slope is.
Right.
But yeah, as you can see, there is an escarpment as the mountain is coming down. But where this ends, you have to visualize that before they started flattening it by quarrying out so they could build more buildings there, that it was the foothills of a mountain just stretching out. And what they've done over the years is cut into it to flatten it because they've been building so many buildings there. And that's why you have these escarpments, like the one that where Eric is now on the panel he's showing us from Mert's Mansion, north of Tarnished Silver Alley. It wasn't originally an open cliff face like that. That's been cut back over the years. To allow more building there, and people have backyards, but this is bumpy descending ground where you have all those green trees down to the back of Tarnished Silver Alley. That's going to be like one of those rural American things where there's a couple cars parked out back, and the cars are actually at a higher level than the house, that they're far behind, because the land comes down to where
and obviously on the far eastern part of the map, it's like Waterdeep's built on a chopped away mountain side, and then the escarpment goes down again towards the city walls and the big gates, etc., etc. And there's dead ground between. Looks to be an inner wall and an outer wall.
Yep.
So effectively, it's like, I suppose, a killing field if anything tries to attack you.
Well, yeah, and look at the elevation lines on the seaward side, where Eric's moving the cursor. Look at those elevation lines. That's severe.
Yeah.
But the only thing that's living there is seabirds, and local cats, dogs, kittens, and pups that want to prey on them by disturbing their nests, because and of course nobody's allowed to build there. And there are the Cliffwatch Villa and so on further up, but not right there.
I was talking about more the opposite side of Waterdeep.
Yeah, the opposite side. Yeah, the whole
Is there anything between those inner and outer city walls? Is it used for farming? Is it used for
where? Which one in particular are we talking
about?
Sorry,
I'm looking again at the city system maps, which is different from the ones that Eric's got punched up from the city.
Because the ones up north. The ones at the north end of the city.
Like that gap in between those walls.
Yeah, that gap was a meadow, and that was a camping paddock for caravans going into the Savage North and coming from the Savage North. They would actually camp in that area, and they would assemble and disassemble. But in 5th edition, that became a slum, and it was completely built. That whole thing is crammed now.
Okay.
With really tiny buildings and winding alleys and so on. To the east of the main thing, there's the cliff drops off, and they have the meadows where the nobles used to fly their falcons, and where again caravans would camp, assemble, muster outside the city, sometimes for days, and then start off. And that got built on and became another ward of the city.
The field ward, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
That whole area that's green there underneath the wall. No, actually below that, Eric. That whole area is now the field ward.
I'll be right back, folks. I have a domestic.
I'm betting that if that ward expands, that northern wall will eventually get moved out, and the street that will replace that will be Wall Street, just like in New York.
Yeah,
that's right. That's what isn't it 2 A's? Built with 2 A's?
Yep.
Here
the
at
issue
the
with
wall.
that is, the issue, of course, is that it's built on a big slope, so going out, you lose some of your defense, I think. So,
That's
Or
true.
it could be they leave the wall and it's just kind of ignored.
Well, it's kind of like you have it
Yeah.
now. You have an inner and,
and
outer wall.
build outside the wall.
Yeah.
Or build another wall so you have 3 walls to breach. Full
Oh, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
of course, because of orc hordes, you're not going to have the lords being very happy with uncontrolled building, which they will then be expected to patrol and police and keep safe. And it also means anybody who tries to build outside is getting in the way of traffic coming into and out of the city.
Mm.
And they're not going to like that. Particularly if the person is going to try and play the game of, well, I'm outside your walls, so I don't have to pay taxes. Thank you very much. And remember, the nobles have their country estates a day's ride this way and a day's ride that way, and they don't want that the commute time to suddenly double or triple because there's all these riffraff in the way they have to ride through or over. So there's going to be control, because remember, they can bring those walls of the city down out of that extra to protect the city where they are right now, not further out. And every time you expand it, it costs you more. So there's going to be a slowing, a resistance for the expansion. But eventually, it's going to happen, as we saw in the 4th edition and 5th edition of the game, where Waterdeep was expanding in hordes in all directions.
And on the east side there, I noticed the wall is not complete around Waterdeep.
Because the cliff is so severe.
I was going to say, how big is the cliff? How high is the cliff?
I think about 120 feet.
120 feet.
High. Yeah, and that's like straight down. Like
right.
there, if you've ever seen the Niagara Escarpment or climbed on it in Ontario in Canada, they have these limestone cliffs, and they have these famous places like Flower Pot Island, which is so called because there's hard limestone on the top and the softer limestone underneath, cut away by waves. So you've actually got an overhang where the top of the thing is bigger than the... Okay, so you don't have an overhang here, but you do have a very severe cliff. Very skilled climbers can climb it, but no army with armor on and weapons strapped to them is going to get up it. Even powerful orcs are going to spend most of their time, assuming you're not defending the wall at all, they're going to spend most of their time falling off it halfway up. It's not an easy climb. So you don't need a wall. Nobody can invade.
That's why I kind of figured and looked at it. Now, who put in the field ward? This wasn't part of your original map, was it?
No, this was added by Wizards of the Coast, and it was one of the planned projected things.
Okay.
That they were going to put one of the Ed Greenwood Presents Waterdeep novels.
Right.
I hate that name. Well, I'm Canadian. I just cringe when it's like, Ed Greenwood Presents Chamber Pots. Ed Greenwood Presents Strike Anywhere matches. It's like, really? No. Does my name have to be on it? Anyway, but I was like, Susan Morris was doing the heavy editing, the real editing, but she was giving each book to me to read through for, does this fit together? Does this feel realms? And so on. And everybody, including one of our esteemed panel, hello, Stephen, got to write an Ed Greenwood Presents Waterdeep novel. But it was going to be the setting for one of the novels.
And is it like a slums? Because I'm just reading the names: Stench Alley, Shanty Lane, Gowan Knife Street. So this is like
the whole point of this. This is it was where if you couldn't afford to buy into the city,
right?
Because remember, the moment you got walls around something, real estate prices are going to rise,
right?
Because they're not making any new land inside the walls. So if you can't afford to live in the city, you live outside the city. If you have business in the city that daily, like you could trudge in every day to work, but you could live outside where it's cheaper and there's no sanitation.
Let me ask a question then about buying land. So I'm an adventurer with gold in my pocket.
Mhm.
Can I buy here?
No.
Because it's illegal, or
Yeah, the lords are going to forbid it, and they're not going to issue a deed for there.
how far do I have
So-
to get before I can buy it?
Well, once you go far enough, then you're going to hit golden fields, and they're not going to want you to eat up land either.
That's a long ways away, though. I mean,
That's
like,
a long way away. No, half a day's
mile-
ride.
Half a
Half
day's
a
ride.
day's ride. Yeah.
Okay. And
So
then,
we're talking, yeah.
And then I'm a wizard with a fly spell. Why can't I buy? Can I buy this rock and put a tower on it?
It depends. You're going to run into permit problems, and in that wealthy neighborhood, all the people around you who don't suddenly want their nice view blotted out by your tower
Mm-hmm.
are going to have things to say about it. But if it's a rock off the shore, like that you're pointing at with your cursor now, I don't see why they wouldn't. Now they're gonna think twice about a wizard, because what's he hiding? Why does he want to be off by himself? What's he going to get up to? It's magic. Well, maybe if he has watchful order inspections every 10 days, and then surprise inspections from time to time in between, they never find anything, that would be fine. But if he's hostile to that idea, then we'll just say no. So we'll tell him these are the conditions, and if he gets that look on his face that says, I don't like this, then we don't want you living there either.
But on the kind of guy who wants to live on a rock, you probably don't want that kind of guy.
Yeah. On the other hand, if you want to live on a rock off the shore and be battered by all those winter storms, we have some rocks that are about a day's ride north of the city. They're nice and scenic. We'll give them to you for free.
Gotcha.
And you just build your own turnoff off the road, and in fact, we'll even help you put up an inn nearby, so you can have guests and keep them out of our hair. And therefore, it'll benefit all travelers on the road. It'll be it'll increase the value of the, and so on and so forth.
Gotcha. Cool. It's been a fascinating tour. I really learned
as we head towards midnight. But remember, we're going to spend more than one podcast on Waterdeep.
Yes. So I mean, if y'all want to continue, we can, or we can break it off for here. And
I mean, I would love to go all night, but Jenny does not want to go all night.
No,
That's what
I
it's
understand.
about. It's like, where's my dinner?
Where's my
This is probably
dinner?
a good spot, Jeff, for me.
No, I think it is a good spot to stop. So yeah, this is a fascinating first toe dip into this Waterdeep guy, but I can't wait to go
Yeah,
farther.
we can tour this city. I mean, it's a city that you needn't ever tire of. So, being
Like
as we
wizards.
never get tired on this podcast, yeah, we can probably do at least 6 podcasts just moseying around Waterdeep. If you want to keep putting a map up, that map I like in particular, that edition of the map, because it's really good with the buildings.
Right.
Yeah.
Which one is that from?
That's from City of Splendors.
City of Splendors.
Okay, I have it. I'll have to make sure I pull it out next time. I didn't
Second
know.
edition,
Yep.
the map with Kelvin on the Chiron.
That's right. That's what I have.
Kelvin on his pogo pony.
That's right.
Oh, wait.
Or as I like to call it, Steven without a budget.
What? I'll have
That's
you know,
right.
all of the components in this box set were signed off on by the VP of.
And how much money did they lose on every box set?
That was Mike Martin's call, not mine.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
You okay, Ed?
But if you hold it up again, all the world can see how much the horse likes it. Well, because Sean Connery's the sexiest man in the
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
It's not water deviant. It's it's crack.
Yes. Quite. Well, we should do lots more stuff of touring Waterdeep. This is fun.
No, I think we should. No, we're going to. That was our plan. So
Yep.
we'll pick a ward or an area next time, and we'll spend more time in the streets. I think.
All lamplighters all the time. That guild. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Lamplighters Guild. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I have my fest hall T-shirt with the
Yeah.
Vessel Inspector on it. So,
and you know, for those of us who grew up with Monty Python, there's plenty Stormy Petrel on a Stick equivalents to be delved into on the streets of Waterdeep.
That's right.
Very cool.
That's right.
Okay.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for showing up. I appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Nice to see you all.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Nice to see everybody.
This was great.
And
Alan, well
absolutely.
met.
We'll set it up quicker if we can. I don't know what everybody's schedule is, but we'll put something in there, fairly quick. And a couple of weeks, give yourself a break, and then I'll email everybody and let you know.
Yeah, because you don't want the body to stop twitching.
No, that's right. No, we'll keep poking it. Don't worry. Well, thank you again, guys. I appreciate it.
Take care.
And, sleep
Thanks,
well.
guys. See you
Yeah.
next time.
All
Bye.
right,
Yeah,
bye.
everybody.
Thanks. Good night.
And everybody, thanks for
Night.
showing up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jenny.
Yeah, thank you. Essential Realms lore. Yeah.
That's right. That's
Yes.
right. Yay! More lore.
La 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 la.